I'm gonna go into your high school background and your college background before I actually get into all the other questions I have, because this is honestly gonna be a pretty long interview because you have such a broad range of things that you do.
Okay.
So you went to Brooklyn Tech, right?
No.
Okay. Bronx Science?
I went to Bronx
Okay.
Science.
That's what
This is fucking trash.
I said to myself Bronx Science yesterday, but for some reason I thought Brooklyn Tech because
not Coco.
I remembered pictures of you with Coco though.
Yeah.
But okay, I was mistaken.
Freshman.
So, why did you choose Stony Brook? First question.
Honestly, very, very weird thing. Hate to admit it. Hope my mother doesn't see this. I picked Stony Brook. Well, okay, no. 2 reasons. Major reason, they gave me a lot of money.
Okay.
They offered me the presidential scholarship. I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm trying to save my parents money.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were like, don't worry about it. Money's not an issue. You can go wherever you want. I also only had to choose between 3 schools, and they were all state schools, so it's essentially all the same. But Stony Brook offered me more money, and also at the time when I was in high school, I was dating this girl. She was a little bit younger than me. I swear to God, this is the worst fucking reason.
It was a good start though.
Ever. It was a fantastic start. But it's good because it'll lead into things.
Okay.
So, I was dating this girl, and she was a year or 2 younger than me. And she went to Bronx Science, and she lived in Queens, so it was just like, you know what? Let me just go to Stony Brook.
So you could commute if you wanted to.
Yeah, so It's not gonna be a pain in the ass. It's not gonna be a crazy long distance if I went to Binghamton or Buffalo, which were my other 2 choices.
Right. I think that makes sense. When you're 18, you think it's gonna work. Long distance. When people are like, "Oh, long distance doesn't work," it's like, "Oh, you're not in my relationship. Like, you don't understand. It'll work."
Yeah, get out of here. That relationship maybe lasted a month into college, and then it was just done. And I was like, well.
I was basically in the same boat. I was in a relationship when I first started Stony Brook. I think it went for 6 months, and then you really can't. It's so difficult. Even if you're an hour and a half away, it just doesn't work. If you're not able to see each other weekly.
Oh yeah, no. Because especially in high school, maybe when you're older, it's a little different. But
if you're, because James, him and his girlfriend have been together since high school. Mm-hmm. They go to different colleges. They only see each other every once in a while. But they're pretty mature in their relationship, and they went out for a very long time. So I think when you're in a mature relationship and you've been there for a lot longer, it's a little bit easier. Yeah. But if you're in a high school relationship, you're in that high school mentality, and then you come to college, that shift is so dramatic, it's not gonna last.
Yeah, exactly. But I, afterwards, being a super salty, college student, I was just like, yo, biggest mistake. I'm just gonna transfer. Screw this. But because I went to Stony Brook, I ended up with a lot of really, really, really awesome opportunities, and probably the best mistake I ever made.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I'm glad I did that. Sometimes I'll think back and I'll be like, man, maybe I should have gone to Stony Brook, because then the weekends wouldn't be dead.
Yeah. And
I would be able to do this, that, and the other thing. But there's just I look at everything.
It's whatever you make of it, really.
Exactly. Everyone's always talking about how Stony Brook's dead and all this other shit. It's just Stony Brook's dead, why don't you do something about it? Why just be a sheep and just complain?
I had this conversation with Jeff about clubs. He was saying how club life is very dull here, and he was president of the College Republicans for a while. When he went to the club, and I remember going to the events freshman year, there was maybe 4 to 5 people, and it was a trash club. Nothing was going on. Their event making was it was just horrible. He made that club what it is today. There's 20 to 30 members at every single meeting. And, they have a lot more funding now, a lot more people know of it, and, there's momentum behind it because he put in the energy and he made it something, he cared about it.
Yeah, it's just people just have to care. Everyone wants to blame someone else when it comes to
that's the easy way out.
Stuff. But that's just pointless, and fine, then just complain about it, and that's all you're going to do for the rest of your life. Yeah. So.
Okay, so you come to Stony Brook, and then you are also a math and eco major, just like me, so I was wondering why you chose math and eco.
I was a mechanical engineering major. We have very similar stories because you weren't originally AMS and Eco, right? My plan of action was engineering, electrical engineering. Yeah. But after the first semester, right after the first semester, I'm like, I can't do this. So I went to AMS, and then I think 3rd semester I picked up the Eco for the GPA booster. And then the GPA booster.
No, honestly. No. And then I picked up a sustainability minor because I thought sustainability was just cool and interesting.
Yeah, no. I had the same thing. I was a mechanical engineering major, year and a half. Hated every single class. I was so gung-ho, coming into college, yo, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna design cars when I graduate and work for Honda. Like that was my dream. I was
Working for Honda?
I'm gonna design car. It didn't have to be for Honda. It could have been for anyone. It was just literally. I mean, Toyota was, I think, a top tier for.
What made you want to do designing cars? Is it just like a childhood thing?
Yeah, it was a childhood thing.
Okay.
Like I used to play with Legos when I was a kid. And, like I used to build cars, and like that was my thing. Like I used to make cars.
That was
and,
my thing.
Airplanes and like crazy like vehicles was mainly the thing.
But then you realize your intellect capped out. And when it came to engineering, you're like, oh, you know what?
I was just
maybe
like,
this isn't it.
This isn't it. I hate this. Like, I like the design stuff. Like when I was taking CAD, which like Mech 280, I think. I was taking like CAD, but then like and the electronics part was actually kind of fun, just because it was building stuff. But then when it came to like the coding and the theoretical and like the one that killed me, that like I was just like, all right, that's it, I'm done. It was my first semester in my sophomore year. I was taking engineering statics, which is like kind of like weird physics. Looking back at it now, honestly, if I had spent a little bit more time studying, I would probably still be a mech engineer right now. But that class was the one that killed me. I just hated it. Like I couldn't understand it. They were just like, yeah, the pressure points are here, there, and like if you put it like this, it'll bend. And I'm like, will it?
What you talking about? What are you talking about?
So I got a C- in that class. You need to get a C to keep going.
So right after that point, you understood that it's like this isn't what I want to do.
I had an option. I could have gone forward with mech, and like I probably, if I really really worked my ass off, like I could have graduated on time and everything. But I was like, you know what?
You would have had to push through it.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to just be spending the next 3 years.
I have this conversation with Pravin. It's that he was originally going to be a AMS computer science double major. The reason he dropped the computer science is, he went pretty far with the classes. I think we got up to 214. Which is like one of the weed out courses, but eventually he realized it's like if I wanted to continue doing this, I would have to give up my social life. I would have to put 100% into just this, and that's difficult to do. Not many people have the passion to keep doing it. If you really care about it, then I think it's pretty easy.
No, 100%. If that's something that you love doing, and like you're just like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna be a CS major, or I'm gonna be a mechanical engineering major, whatever it is. And you're super passionate about it, and like since you were a little kid, like you've absolutely definitely known this is what I want to do. Right. I want to work for NASA. I want to work for whatever it is, and like just build this stuff. Then go for it. You
have the drive and the ambition like off the bat. Yeah. And I think it stands the most for medical students, people who are on the pre-med track. If you're on the pre-med track, you have to want it. You have to be the top 5%, and you have to the entire route. You can't have a little bit of you that doesn't want to do it. You need to have that perseverance throughout.
Yeah. No. One of my friends, really really close friend of mine, we were friends from high school. We hung out a lot. Doesn't hang out a lot anymore because he's on like the fast track to med school.
Yeah.
He goes to NYIT or something like that, and like he's already in med school now, and he's our age.
That's really damn good.
Yeah, it's wild. Like he took his MCATs when he was a sophomore, and like he got ridiculously good scores.
You have to be ahead of the game when it comes to stuff like that.
No, this kid's crazy, but like he doesn't hang out with us that much. Like I saw him once over winter break, and it was like the wildest thing. I was just like, oh my god, you're out of your house, like. But I mean, this kid's gonna make tons of money, like super successful. Really, really loves what he's doing. So I have tons of respect for it. But barely has a social life.
Yeah, but I mean, if the passion drives you, eventually you're gonna have the balance later on in life. It's sacrificing now for tomorrow.
Of course.
So it is what it is. So going away from school and academia, because my main focus for talking to you isn't school and academia.
Right.
It's more on the lines of, don't look at the questions. What are you doing?
Sorry. I'm just eyeing them.
It's more on the line of like your background in photography, working with Steady, doing all the stuff you're doing outside of school. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about your minor, because you have a minor in photography, right?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore. Realized that I would have had to stay like an extra semester to finish my minor, so I was just like, I'll take this L.
Okay, so it wasn't worth it. It was. I mean, realistically, it wouldn't.
It honestly, okay. So I took what did I take? I took Intro to Photography, which I basically slept in that class because I knew what was going on in the class. I mean, I learned a couple good things, like framing and all that other stuff.
Right.
But otherwise, like, it was just kind of like whatever. I kind of dragged through it. They're all super easy classes. And then I took Color and Light Photography. which I learned a ton about.
Was that the class that you took? What was that a year and a half ago? I think.
Yeah,
that's the one that I think I helped you with one of the projects, right?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Project. Yeah,
that was really cool. Because that stuff, I think you need someone who's already experienced, like pretty experienced in it, to kind of like expedite the process of trial and error for you. But yeah, that was really cool. All the pictures you took for that project, they were just really, really dope.
Yeah, that was I learned how to use studio lighting, which was crazy. Because like it just basically gave me the opportunity to use all this incredibly expensive equipment that I couldn't be able to afford on my own.
Right.
You know, the stuff that I was using, they were like each flash, because I looked it up on B&H Photo because I was just curious. I ended up buying my own, but way less high quality than what they have. But the ones that they have are Impact, and like each flash, each light costs $700.
Jeez.
And like they have like 6 of them in that studio.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't even include the soft boxes and the color gels and all the other.
I feel like some of the stuff that we have on campus, some of those resources are so underused.
Oh yeah, no, they are. Just no one really.
People don't know about that.
Yeah, they don't. But like I had free access to the studio. You know, we had paper rolls and everything, backdrops. It was great. Hot lights, cold lights, beauty dishes.
What's a beauty light?
A beauty light is like, it's like this big shell.
Okay.
And there's like a big bright light in the middle, but because of the way that there's like a cap over the light like this,
okay, that
deflects the light backward, and it kind of,
so it comes outwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like very it's like the dish is about this big.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be a very soft light.
Interesting.
But it's constant as opposed to like a quick flash. But yeah, I mean I took that, and then you know, I learned a ton from that class. That was an awesome class to take. And then I ended up taking analog black and white photography, which was a really fun class because I had just gotten into film. And that taught me how to really like manipulate the film, and like because you made your own prints, like you would from start to finish, which is super old school because now we have digital cameras, we just kind of shoot away and we don't really think about it. But with film, you kind of think about it a lot more because each roll costs you about $5 to $8.
Every shot has to be the right shot, or else it's a waste.
Yeah, and then the exposing paper, like the photo paper, like a stack of 100 of them, because these were like photosensitive paper, which you had to keep in this black bag that it came with, and it could never see the light of day. Literally could never see the light of day. That stack of 100 pieces of paper was $80. Yeah, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
So, start to finish, we developed our film, which, like, if you've never developed film before, which I'm sure most people haven't, you have to sit in a completely pitch black room. Right. And, like,
I mean, I think most people know of the process because of, like, movies and stuff like that, where they're in, like, the red lit room.
There's no red light. There's no red light.
See, I was mistaken.
No, there is a red light when you're actually exposing like the paper.
Okay.
But when you're like putting all the chemicals and like all that other stuff into your
pitch
film,
black?
It's pitch black.
Okay.
So like it's like they were just like, yeah, you can practice by just having your eyes closed and doing this. Like, and I'm just like, I'm sitting there just like, wait, are you serious? It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be pitch black in that room. Like, what are you talking about?
That's a lot cooler with the red light, but I guess that doesn't make sense because it's still light of some sorts.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's a low frequency light, so like that's why it doesn't take that much of an effect. Like we have those in the larger room.
But would it still affect the way the print came out? Okay,
it's fine. It's like negligible, but like the film itself is super light sensitive. Okay. So. Yeah, so there's no red light in there. It's just, you have your eyes closed the entire time.
All right, cool. Basically. People find that's a myth right there. It's busted.
Yeah, myth busted. When you're actually developing the film, it's completely pitch black. And then once you put it inside the canister, then you can turn the lights on, and then you're just pouring chemicals in and shaking it around and stuff.
What kind of chemicals do you use to develop the film?
I don't know what they're actually called. Okay. They're just called like developer, stop bath,
just stuff. Okay, nothing.
Stuff. There's no like. There's not like, oh, this is ethanol, like, or some shit like, I don't know, it's a chemical word that I popped up in my head.
So when it comes to photography, then did you start doing photography before you started taking these classes, or did you start getting more into it after you started taking the classes?
I mean, I was into it, and like I kind of understood what was going on, but didn't like I wasn't like super involved in it. I was just kind of taking pictures to take pictures. Like I had a camera around.
Because now I'd say that's one of your biggest passions.
Oh no, absolutely. I love doing it. don't really get to do it as much around
with school,
campus
you'd be busy.
because I'm busy, and also like I'm just kind of bored of Stony Brook at this point when it comes to creative stuff. Like it's just so fucking boring. Everyone's just kind of doing the same stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was taking those classes and like learning about, because color and light, yeah, it was studio work and all that other stuff, but he also taught us how to like manipulate light and how to understand like what is like good exposure, bad exposure, how something should be lit, like what you can do, like, because people are always just like, you know, oh, don't take this photo because like the sun's in the background, right, and like this is just going to show up as like a dark person. He was just like, hey, you know, if like that's what you're going for, then you know, shoot it with it backlit, and like it can be just a silhouette, and like manipulate the photo so that it is a silhouette, right. And like do all that other stuff, which I thought was really interesting, and it just gave a different perspective on things. But really, probably a lot of my creative direction, like how I really got started and doing what I'm doing now, is because of my work with Steady.
Right. We'll get that. We'll get into that.
We'll get there. But
it's a little leap. We got to build a story.
shout outs to the creative director and the founder, Cal. He's the guy. He taught me how to use Lightroom. Taught me how to use InDesign.
So do you think you learned more in terms of editing, in terms of, you know, actual photography from just trial and error, doing it on your own, like outside of classes, or do you think it was like a mix of, I learned a lot from classes, I learned a lot from outside too?
I think it's just different. It's different learning, because a lot of the stuff that I learned in the classes were technical.
Or like more textbook?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, you know, like I don't have like a dark room just sitting in my house.
It's like the resources are probably extremely beneficial to, you know, expediting that progress that you had.
It's the resources, because like, yeah, like, you know, Cal or myself or YouTube videos, whatever it is, like it can teach you a lot of stuff. It can teach you how to frame stuff correctly. It can teach you like what aperture is, what exposure times are, you know, ISO, light sensitivity, all that other stuff. You can learn all that stuff. You know, the internet's wonderful,
right?
And you can learn tons of things from it, but at a certain point, like you're just gonna kind of hit a wall where you know, yeah, like you want to learn how to use studio stuff. You want to learn how to shoot something where like the lights on either side are 4 or 5 stops away from each other, but you just like to get that equipment is so expensive.
It's so above your pay grade.
Yeah, that like especially as a college student, that it's just like, oh well, all right, I guess I can't do that. But you know, because I was like, you know what, I have all these free little sections in my schedule to be taking these classes. I took them and I learned a lot of other stuff from that. So it was definitely a mix.
That's dope. So I want to go into Flushing Night Out now, because I know that's where you, I think, originally started talking to the founders of Steady. Yeah. I believe so. So I want to go into like how you came about the idea for Flushing Night Out, kind of describe, you know, what it is and everything that you did behind it. You know, just give an idea of, you know, what it is.
Yeah, so Flushing Night Out was a night market that I helped create with the Greater Flushing Chamber of Commerce, which is where I had my first, I would say, internship, like real internship. And so the Greater Flushing Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit organization. They try to help businesses in the local area, Flushing, Queens, kind of get together, like, you know.
Do you live in Flushing, Queens?
I do.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you probably had a lot of pride behind that.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Flushing. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people are just like, yo, like, Brooklyn, whatever it is. Like, nah, get out of here. It's Flushing all day. Like, we got the best food. End of story. And
I don't know about that. Bronx people might fight you about that.
Oh yeah, Bronx people might fight me. My mom might fight me on that. My mom's from the Bronx, so yeah. But I actually, like, I didn't really want to work for the chamber for like a very long time. It just because like I got it like in my senior year of high school. But that was actually when they were. Man, it's been a while. I forgot what the hell the name of the organization was. But it was named something else. They had a different focus, and then. When I, you know, after my freshman year of college, they made a switch to the Flushing Chamber of Commerce. I came back. I was just like, oh, so you guys aren't this company anymore, and like everybody was the same. The staff was the same, so they were just like, yeah, but it's cool. Like, you can keep working here, and I was like, no doubt. And when I was a freshman in college, while I was going into my sophomore year of college, my boss, John Cho, who's the executive director of the chamber, he gives me like a sheet of paper. He's just like, these are all the little projects that we want to work on. Pick and choose, like, because we just need hands-on doing that stuff. They're like really understaffed all that time, which kind of sucks because they do a lot of good work.
I mean, most people don't apply to those not-for-profit organizations. I mean, if you're in college and you're trying to get an internship, it's usually I need to get a paid internship.
Yeah.
Money's always the game. It sucks to say, but a lot of those nonprofits do great things, and again, they have that problem of being understaffed.
Yeah, they have a problem being understaffed just because like there's not enough funding from it, whatever. But luckily, I got a grant, so I was getting paid while I was doing all the work.
That's lit.
So I didn't mind it, but one of the things was like, we wanted to start a night market, and it was his idea for like the name Flushing Night Out, and I at the time I don't really watch them anymore because I think they're corny as hell, but I was watching the Fung Bros a lot.
Okay.
Fung Bros and Richie Lee. Shout out to them if you're like in middle school or high school or something and you want to be watching that stuff. Like, I guess it's interesting, but like they just got corny at a certain point and I was just kind of like whatever. I had known about the 626 night market out in California, which happened in, I'm forgetting, it begins with an A, but it's near LA. Huge Asian community.
Yeah, that's not gonna come up to me.
Alhambra, maybe? I don't know. It could be. Either way, out in California, they have a 626 night market, based on Taiwanese night markets, out in Taiwan. And also in like other parts of Asia. Like, night markets are like a really big part of Asian culture.
Right.
It's just basically, be able to get food, be able to like, look around and hang out with people like late at night and just enjoy your night. And like, I feel like everybody, especially our age or like even in high school, whatever it is, just like, a fun night out is just going to the club and getting fucked up, or like going to a bar and getting fucked up, and well, that's cool and everything. Like, it's just like at a certain point that stuff's gonna get boring.
It's not as active. I mean, me and some friends have the same problem. That's like, we'd rather do something where it's more, you're more hands on. It's not just you go, you drink, and that's it. Right. You want to do something where you're creative, or you have like a kind of drive to do a little better, like bowling, archery, stuff like that, where it's like, like we're doing something with friends, but we're also kind of like, it's like a game. And I think like people are kind of losing touch with that more and more. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I feel like college culture, for a lot of people, they're driving away from like going out and doing things like that to just like, let's just get lit, and I don't like that anymore. I feel like back in the day, it was more common for people to just go out and do those types of things.
Yeah. Or maybe, honestly, it just could be the fact that we're both like 21 at this point. So like now, like true. Drinking is kind of like, all right, like, yeah, I can get to the bar. There's absolutely no problem. The only barrier to entry is the fact that I don't want to pay the $10 cover charge.
Yeah.
So I worked on that, and like I had a lot of great ideas because of all the videos that I watched about the 626 night market. And I was like, yo, like, why doesn't New York have one of these? Like, there was the Queens night market, but like I heard from multiple accounts. I mean, now I heard that they're pretty good, but like I heard from multiple accounts that it was kind of whack. But they were also in their first starting phases. Then, now like they're really awesome. I've been to a couple. I have a couple homies, thanks to Flushing Night Out, that I know are vendors there. So I started on that, and I was like, yo, like, what can we do so that like we're better than Queens Night Market? That was honestly what I was thinking in my head, because Queens Night Market happened on Saturdays. We were happening on Fridays. It was all in the summer. I was just like, what we can do? We can have entertainment. We can have music, and that's what's going to be better, right?
The Queens Night Out didn't have entertainment?
They did, but it was just like, it's like,
I feel like it's a prerequisite to having a night out.
No. You ever have you've I guess to like those like crap street fairs, right?
Yeah. Okay,
where they have the stage, and it's just like, like we have DJ D Drizzle like on the. And it's just like, who the hell is that? And she's just playing some like whack mix.
It's more like a on the side thing. It's in the background rather than this is something that will draw people in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I wanted to get like a really big performance, the first one, because we had two. My first time. Being there, we had the first night, like, it didn't really work out. We ended up getting one of my friends from school, Tom Lee. Okay. He DJ'd. He was really dope.
Did you guys have like like something. I want to say like Akwafina or something. Like
We did
that.
have Akwafina.
That's what it was. Okay.
That's what it was. Shout out to Akwafina. But.
No, I can't think of Akwafina as Akwafina anymore because of BoJack Horseman. I just think of 16 Akwafina from the show. It's a dolphin. BoJack Horseman kind of messed that up for me.
Yeah, I mean, just it is what it is.
So how did you come into contact or get her to come out to? Because as you said, like this was a pretty small event at the time, and I'm assuming her, how well she's known, her notoriety,
right,
per se, was larger than Flushing Night Out.
Right.
So what brought her out?
So, the first night, like everyone was just like, yo, like no one's gonna show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is just something that like some 19-year-old kid put together, literally, because like, yeah, all the and I don't blame them. This is not coming from a place of malice or anything like that. Like, I was a 19-year-old kid. I don't know why the hell they trusted me with this, but they did. They took a chance. They did it. And that first night market that we had, like 1,000 people showed up, which is like not a huge amount of people.
That's a pretty good turnout for something that was just up and coming.
Yeah, like I put it together in like maybe a month and a half, and then the first event happened. 1,000 something people came out. Like we had clickers going on. Like people really enjoyed it, and the only issue was it started to get too packed because we had it at Flushing Town Hall, which like their venue isn't really big, but we had it there. And actually, one of the first people that called me, which obviously I'm gonna lead this on to something else later. But one of the first people that ever called me.
Oh, foreshadowing out here.
I want they were just like, hey, like we saw your thing, we saw your advertisement out, right? It was a guy named Cal.
Okay.
Calls me on the phone, on the office phone, mind you. I'm just like, who the hell has this number? I pick up the phone. I think we might have put it on the flyer. I was like, yeah, what's going on? He was just like, yeah, I have a clothing brand, and we want to be a vendor. How much would it cost? All this other stuff. I was just like, sure, because like at the time I wasn't like super into streetwear. I wasn't super into clothing and all that other stuff, and like all the creative work. Like I would make stuff on Photoshop, but that would be maybe the extent of my creative work. And like I knew about streetwear because I used to skate, and those two are like kind of heavily related.
They are. Was it the one with the bomb? What is it? The hundreds. Yeah. I think that is one of the companies that was the same thing, like that, the skate mentality, and they went into clothing. Was another one, District Goods, District Apparel, I think, is another one.
Never heard of
Randall Pitch's company, you probably know Randall Pitch. Live Fit, he's also a skater.
Oh, Live Fit, yeah.
He's one of the larger ones that I know, but he had the same thing. He was into streetwear because he came from like a skater background. Yeah. I just find it interesting, like that skaters always have this like streetwear mentality for clothes.
They're heavily related because you have the hundreds, and the brand Now Steady, which obviously I'm going to go way more into this later. We have a really good relationship with the hundreds as a brand.
Really?
Yeah, because we know the guy that does the headwear and accessories. His name's Dave Rivera. Really cool guy. And like, they're doing really awesome things. They come from a skater background. I need to check if this is still rolling because I know that has a 20-minute whatever on it. It is not rolling anymore.
Guy.
It's cool because you got this recording.
I have the audio, but I don't have the video now.
You know what? We don't have to do the fucking video.
I wanted to do that. You're supposed to be the second one with video. No, it's too late. You can put that one away because it's gonna break halfway through. You should have told me to set up the webcam.
Yeah, I should have just set up the webcam.
All good. So no video for this one.
No video for this one.
Not a problem.
We have 20 minutes for that.
That's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll go on with video for the next ones. But let's go back to your story. So got contacted by Cal. You're talking about Cal, and then you're talking about your relationship that Steady has with the hundreds.
Yeah, right. But there's the hundreds and the hundreds. Like they came from like a skate background. Bobby Hundreds, who's the owner, creative director, and one of the founders. Because Ben and Bobby Hundreds, those two are co-owners. He got into creative work and all that other stuff, taking pictures of his friends skateboarding and all that stuff. He like skated too. But there's also like Rogue Status. Rogue Status was like at the time when I was skating, I was like in middle school and high school. I didn't have like a lot of money. Like Rogue Status, we were selling these all over T-shirts, these all over print T-shirts, with like they had like AK-47s, like pistols and all this other stuff, and like those T-shirts sold for like $40, and I was like, yo, that's so much money for a T-shirt. That's crazy. and like Rogue Status is like an OG streetwear brand. And then
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, they're kind of dead now, I think, but you know, that's got skate roots. Like Supreme, originally a skate brand,
right?
You know, what I consider streetwear now up to debate, because streetwear kind of is like supposed to be fringe culture, and Supreme has become very mainstream. I'm saying this while wearing a Supreme hat on my head, but
But I think I know what you're saying. Like they've crossed like this fine line between like, you know, it's just streetwear versus kind of like hype wear.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things where you really think about it, and like people kind of hold Supreme to the same light as Louis Vuitton or Gucci,
which is weird because it's not on the same. I don't think they're on the same spectrum. I don't.
Yeah, they're not.
I think in terms of not even in terms of revenue, because I know Supreme is making a lot of money as a company right now because everyone will get it just because of the hype. They're at that level, but it's, I mean, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, companies like that are on just another.
Well, they've been around for just tons and tons of years.
Yeah.
They've been around since like 19 something. Like I don't know the exact year. I'm not gonna try to make myself a fool by trying to cite or guess an exact year, but it's just like, you know, no one ever thought that Supreme would have a collaboration with Louis Vuitton, and then they did. But it's really ironic and it's kind of funny, and like, you know, there's stuff from the Supreme Louis Vuitton collection that like I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like I would probably buy that, but like also it costs $3,000, so I'm not.
Yeah, I don't understand how prices like that are functioning.
Well, that's Louis Vuitton prices. That's why.
Okay, that's true.
Like they retailed for a lot of money. The box logo T-shirt's selling for like $1,000 on Grailed right now, which is ridiculous in my mind. Like I don't know, unless I'm making tons and tons of money, there's no way in hell that I'm just gonna outright just be like, yo, you know what? That T-shirt, I'm buying it for $1,000. To me, nothing special about it. There's some T-shirts out there, mainly made by Supreme, that I would get, like, I would pay like outrageous amounts of money for it, but that's because it has like a story behind it, like like something like the Sopranos box logo, which came out like long time ago. They got a cease and desist letter from the Sopranos because they never got the rights to do it, and that's what Supreme used to do. They used to just make flips and get absolutely no permission. Like they have a Gucci box logo, but that's what streetwear is.
Yeah, okay.
That's what they would do. Like, you know, 10 Deep, a super OG like streetwear brand. Their first logo was a flip on the Champion logo, and
a flip on the Champion. What is that? What do you mean?
You know, Champion C?
Okay.
Yeah, they flipped that. Crooks and Castles, their first ever logo was the Versace Medusa head. They put a bandana around her face, and they're just like, "Yep, this is Crooks and Castles."
Okay, you're right. Now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of streetwear is just a little like altercation to an already known brand.
That's what it was back in the day. It used to be just like, being able to flip luxury brands and like put it on a T-shirt, something like that. Stussy, like people don't really think of it, and people aren't like paying attention to the fact, but Stussy's S-Link logo, where it's like an S and then a flipped S going the other way, it's a Gucci link flip. Right. The circle logo. Yeah. They did that. Like that's tons of these things. And Supreme originally made a Louis Vuitton flip box logo where they put dollar signs and like diamonds in the background instead of the Louis Vuitton monogram, where it was like LV and then the little diamonds and stars and all that other stuff. They made that flip. They made the Gucci flip where they had just like red and green, like and with the red stripe down the middle. The Sopranos, like they just took the R in Supreme and made it into a pistol, like pointing down, just like the Sopranos logo. And they have a Coca-Cola box logo, super rare, and it says Supreme. It says like Enjoy Supreme, but like Coca-Cola didn't license it, so like they got cease and desist.
So now that they're as large as that they are, that I'm assuming these companies are going after them more.
No, I mean, they produced those things like a very long time ago. Supreme's been around since 94 or 96 or something.
That's just a quick side note. I wanted to give a little info on Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, actually, the date it was founded was 1854.
Yeah, okay.
That's so long ago. And the net worth is $28.4 billion.
I'm not surprised.
That's outrageous. So I'm
not surprised.
Yeah.
Supreme's probably worth, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Supreme's worth, like, $1 billion now.
Yeah, Supreme is worth approximately $1 billion.
Yeah.
And we'll see when they came out. So
Carlisle Group, I think it was 94. I'm going to guess. It's either 94 or 96.
Did Supreme start? So Supreme started in 1994.
Okay, yeah, it was 94. That's what I thought. There's some other brand that's 96.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, Supreme's been around for like a very, very long time in terms of streetwear. 10 Deep too, Crooks and Castles as well. You know, all those are like super OGs. But now, you know, Supreme has like a fully licensed collaboration with Louis Vuitton.
So it's not the same idea.
It's not the same. It's not just like, because like, you know, you would get the Supreme Louis Vuitton like flip like that wasn't licensed by Louis Vuitton, and you'd kind of just like, you know, you'd feel like you're part of something.
You're kind of like an anti-hero, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny. It's just like, like, big homie went to the store and he bought a Louis Vuitton bag, and like, he might have dropped $800, or like, I don't know how much Louis Vuitton bags cost, like maybe like 1.7 or something like that, right?
Something
and it's just like, but like, I bought this Louis Vuitton flip Supreme box logo for $40, fam. Like, you looking like a fool. This looks exactly the same. But now it's just like they're producing these actual licensed shit, and like, the t-shirt I think retailed for like $600 or $700, something like that, and they're selling on Grailed and StockX for like $1,000. And
yeah, that's funny. It's like there's a quote for heroes. It's like, you either become the hero or you see yourself becoming the villain.
Yeah, you either die. No, it's you die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
That's what it is. I butchered that so bad. But yeah, that's basically what they've become.
That's basically what they've become.
Okay, so from that, I want to go way back because we just
we strayed away really far. But I could talk about streetwear for fucking days. So you know, Cal calls me on the phone, and he's like, "Yo, you know, like, I really want to be a part of it." I was like, yeah, sure, no doubt. Like, I wasn't stopping anybody from like being a part of the night market, unless it was like kind of like way too weird and outlandish, where it was just kind of like, you're paying money to be here and you're just not going to make money. I just don't want to take your money because I feel bad, right? So I go on their website, which is the same website that we have now, steadyus.com, if you ever want to shop our clothing. And I look at it, it's just like, I was just in love with absolutely everything with the brand, like the way they shot everything was like really well made. At the time, like, the following was really, really low. It was like 400 something on Instagram. We're now like about 1.1K.
It's grown a lot recently.
It's been growing.
I think a bigger thing is, and this is, I always bring this up, is social media marketing with like you know, influencers and people like that. People have more notoriety. Like, you guys have a affiliation with JUS, which, you know, he has a little over like 8,000 or something followers, which, you know, him repping Steady, like, whenever I see him wearing Steady stuff, I see it and I'm like, oh, that looks dope. I wonder where he got that. You know, that off the bat definitely helps more and more people, you know, understand or know of the brand. Yeah,
for sure. And wait, sorry, I just gotta kind of step back a little bit. Just wrapping up the whole Flushing Night Out thing. We ended up partnering with this nonprofit Asian American group called Collaboration, and they helped us get Akwafina because they have contacts with her.
We need to stuff. Okay.
Yeah, Akwafina is really great. If you don't know her, it's like Awkward-Fina kind of put together. If you want to look up what her stuff is, she's in Ocean's 8 now. She was in a Gap commercial. She's in Crazy Rich Asians. Like, she's blown up since like we worked with her, and like, it was ridiculous. It was unattainable because I was just straight up like in email chains with this girl, and she was signing it Nora Lum, which is really funny because that's her real name. And she was signing it Nora Lum. And she was signing it Nora, and I was just like, yo, fam, like, you're not playing anybody. Like, I know you're Akwafina. And she was really cool. Some people were just like, oh my god, like, I can't believe she said that, because she has some pretty explicit lyrics, but I think it's really funny. Shout outs to her though, because she's breaking all these stereotypes about Asian women being like these submissive whatever, which, like, anytime I ever hear some, you know, sorry if this pisses people off, but like, if I ever hear some white dude being like, yo, Asian women are submissive, it's just like, yo, have you ever met my mom? She's not submissive, fam. And like, you know, you have Akwafina, who's got like this nose piercing and this attitude, and like, she's super dope. She's from Elmhurst, I think.
Max is from Elmhurst.
Oh yeah, and she's just like, you know, she's just yelling and fucking rapping about like her pussy and shit. Like, she has a song called My Vag. It's to make fun of.
That's why in BoJack Horseman they've made her an extremely sexual dolphin. That's why her name in the show is 16 Akwafina.
That's really funny.
You gotta watch it. I'll send you one of the episodes. I'll tell you which one to watch. It's really funny, the spin that they put on her.
But she's she's dope. She flipped Mickey Avalon's My Dick and just made it My Vag, and she was just like, talking about how her vag was just better than I was vag. It's like, all right, cool. And she kind of normalized that. I think that's cool. And she was super dope to work with. And it was just crazy because, like, again, like, I was 19 years old. I watched Akwafina's music videos. I just, like, really loved everything about her, and I knew about her through Dumbfounded, who's also a super great, super talented artist. More well known, has tons of great songs. But
yeah, so all the experiences you had with Flushing Out were like kind of surreal. So you get in contact with all these like big name, you know, not big name, but like medium scale vendors. All these people who are out there who definitely have some notoriety, and you know, at this point, you get to contact all of these people, and you know, I think that's one of the ways you got in contact with Steady.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the ways that I got into contact with Steady, which was really great. But I forgot where the conversation left off because we had like 7 different.
Yeah, it went in and out. You're talking about your contact with Cal. So I think we said it like 3 times. So Cal contacted you, talking about how you'd done such a great job with Flushing Night Out, how you know, you made so much progress with the marketing and all of that. So when did you start working with Steady?
So he hits me up. It was after Flushing Night Out was done. They were releasing. It was Good Grief was the name of the collection, and at this point, I'm kind of losing, because ever since I joined, like, the seasons just seem to fly by. I kind of forget what years the names are attached to. I remember the names of every single collection until we stopped naming collections. But I don't remember what year it was, because now I just call it like, oh, this is like spring summer 18, this is fall winter 17, whatever it is, because we stopped naming the collections. As a marketing thing, like, we just felt like we were putting in a lot of work to naming things and doing all this other stuff, and like people just weren't like, it just didn't make sense. It was just a really, really big disconnect.
There was more input than output.
Yeah,
not getting the return on how much effort it was probably.
It's because we really base our stuff that, like, as a brand we're storytellers, and that's what we do well. So, you know, when people just kind of weren't really getting some of these things, we were just like, why are we beating ourselves up, you know, doing this stuff? But, yeah, so, you know,
he contacts you.
He contacts me. We do all this.
So when's the first time you actually worked with the company?
Worked with the company for year 2. Okay, so now we're about 4 years old. So it was 2 years ago.
So when you know, Cal first contacted you, was that like the first year that Steady had actually, you know, began their production?
No, because they were about a year and a half old when they contacted me, and when I started kind of working with them, I'm doing air quotes because this is a audio recording, so you can't see my hands. When I started working with them, air quotes. They were about 2 years old, and they were working on year 2, which was their 2nd year anniversary thing that they had. That, you know, and Cal was like, "Yeah, you did such a good job with Fleshing Night Out. Like, if you had any input about like our events or anything like that, like, you know, we'd really appreciate it if you help us out." And it's just like, "Yo, you know, like, I love your brand. Like, I really love all the creative and everything you guys have been doing. Like, I'm totally down." Like, it wasn't even like a thing where it was just like, yeah, pay me money, decision. Anything like that. It was just like, yo, like, I'll do it. Like,
I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. Yeah. There's no questions, no ifs and buts. It's just, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I wanted to be a part of it. And, like, you know, by that point, you know, when it came to streetwear, because I started to do a little bit more of my research, I was like, yo, like, I really like clothing. I'm super interested in this stuff, but, like, I don't really know what I'm doing about it. So I worked with them just a little bit, like, here and there, like, yeah, you know, you should do this, or, like, you need this, like, you need to get event insurance, you should, you know, contact these people, like, you should have this stuff set up so that, like, you know, you're keeping all the guests entertained and all this other stuff. And we ended up having this thing at the Living Gallery in Brooklyn, and we had a collaboration with one of the vendors, actually, from Flushing Night Out, Odin's Mighty Masubi, who ceased to exist for a little bit and then started to come back. I think they're now around still. Anyway, they're a bunch of really cool guys. They made Masubi, which is like Spam sushi, I guess, is like the wackest way for me to put it, but
It's something different. It's a creative spin on already existing foods. Let's put it like that.
yeah, I mean it's Hawaiian. That's what it is. It comes from
Okay,
Hawaiian
okay. No,
culture.
apparently Spam is very big in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah,
I know.
it totally
I think Jollibee. I want to say no, that's the Philippines. There's something that I had heard of that actually uses Spam as like one of the main ingredients, and it's like a really good dish, but very random. Yeah.
Yeah, but the owners of, which is really funny that you mentioned Jollibee, the owners of Owners by Musubi are Filipino.
Okay.
And like Spam is like a big thing, not just in Filipino culture, but I feel like in a lot of Asian cultures, Korean culture, I know, Chinese culture, like we use that in our fried rice. Not so much Japanese culture as I'd want to say, because I'm Chinese and Japanese. But
So going into working with them.
yeah, so
your first role was more like a consultant position, kind of.
Kind of. They called me the chief homie. They didn't have like a real name title for me, so they were just like people. We'd go out to events together. I know because like we know this guy, Jake Key. He was the executive producer for the film Bad Rap. It's on Netflix now. Featured Akwafina, Dumbfounded, Lyrics, and Rex Dizzy, I believe, were the 4 rappers, about Asian American rappers, and like about how their journey to stardom and all that other stuff. Interesting film. Went to see it, and there's an after party at Juga Lounge or something like that, and we went. Dumbfounded was there, which was like I was kind of like just in the corner of the room, like I'm in the same room as Dumbfounded, no doubt. I said what's up to him, but we were there because like I got invited personally, and the homies from Steady got invited, and we rolled up, and like it was just like, oh, like because they saw me wearing like Steady, like Cal and Moss, who were like the other 2 guys that work on Steady, like they were also wearing it, so they looked at the 3 of us and they're like, all right, so y'all 3 are like affiliated, like Cal, what do you do? Moss, what do you do? And then they like looked at me and they're just like, what do you do? They're just like, yo, he's the chief homie. And I was just like, all right, no doubt, I guess
I'll take pride in that position.
Yeah, so I was chief homie for a really long time.
When did that transition more into a larger role, something that was more not that chief homie isn't professional, but something that was more had
an actual name
position.
So after year 2, we put this whole thing together. I helped in planning a lot of it, and after that, Cal was just like, all right, like you need to not be cheap. No, it was actually before that. Sorry. We were about to shoot. It was my first lookbook that I was ever on. We were about to shoot spring, summer 16, I believe, because this is my second full year being on the team at this point. So spring, summer 16, we shot it at JFK. And like we were about to go on the shoot. We were like about to leave. We met up at this place, at this coffee shop, and I'm like, Moss and Cal are in the front seat, and of the car, and I go and I open up the door to go into the back. I sit down, and Cal throws me a yellow anorak, which is like the team's jacket, because we never released it. It's like a bright yellow pullover jacket.
It's similar to the same bright yellow. It's like the keychain that you guys have now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that color. But it has a 3M print on it.
Okay.
So it's a 3M reflective print. And they threw it on. People are always asking like, "Oh, yo, can I get this? Can I get this?" Just like, nah, like we never released
you're not
it.
cool enough.
It's just a team thing. So we always like make some things for ourselves.
You got it. If you're a creative mind, there's some things that you want to create, but can't put out there.
Yeah, I mean, no, people without a doubt, people would buy it. It's 3M reflective, like it's dope. But we just wanted to keep this for ourselves. So like he hands it to me in the back of the car. He's just like, "Yo,"
it's like a movie scene right here.
It honestly is. It honestly was. He hands this to me. He's just like, "Yo, like everything's pro bono. Like we don't really pay ourselves." And I was like, "What?" He was just like, "Welcome to the team, fam." And I was like, "What? All right, no doubt." And my role then became marketing director. Which, I didn't have tons of marketing experience, but that was just like what they got assigned. My role now is operations director, because we realized that like what I was doing was not necessarily marketing, and I kind of was just like looking at my feet all the time. Yeah. So I oversee operations
Okay.
for the brand now. So when we're producing something, and it's like the first thing we ever produced of that kind, like I'll do the research to find like a production place for it and all that other stuff, and like I'll be talking to the guys that, you know, do all of our printables and you know, set up certain things and talk about our budget and talk about like how much money we can use for certain things. So that's what I do now. Tons of Excel sheets, way more organized now, since I, you know, joined the team and like I was doing like operations. So now we can keep track of like sale dates, you know, when things do well, when things don't do well, whatever it is. So we're a little bit more organized. But yeah, that's what I was doing. And then the next collection, they ended up going to Japan. I was in school, couldn't do anything. I just kind of sat around, looked at my feet as they went to Japan. I could have gone, but I didn't because I had school. And I was like, I'm going to be a smart boy and stay in school. But honestly, looking back on it now, especially where I am, being in school probably wouldn't have been as important. Sorry, Mom, if you hear this. Because like it's, you know, school's great, and you know, I'm here to learn. I'm here to get my degree, and I want to get my degree because it's just something that you need to be like a functioning human being in society now. And like obviously, you know, one of my mom's dreams and goals, which I really respect her for, is to put her kids through college, because her mom didn't pay for her college education and all that other stuff. So she was just like, you know what, like to be a good mother, to be a good parent, like is to send my kids to school and pay
it's
for
that
all
immigrant
that other
mentality.
Stuff. Yeah, but she's not an immigrant. She's like
really?
second generation.
Oh, okay.
But
I mean, in today's day and age, getting an undergraduate is the new high school.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And for most people, going to an undergraduate, because I've had this debate with people, even if you don't like what you're doing, it's a stepping stone. It
really is.
You know, if you don't do anything for those 4 years, if you go to college for 4 years, there's a higher chance that you'll find something to do or end up in a position where you'll have more opportunity to do something.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you know, I'm finishing my degree. Also, you know, like it's just it teaches you how to work hard.
Yeah.
If anything, like if you hate your major, if you hate absolutely everything that you're doing, like it teaches you to work hard.
Discipline. Teaches you discipline. You know, balancing time, understanding how to use a schedule, the calendar, understanding how to you know, get work done in your, because like homework isn't like having a job where a job is a scheduled 9 to 5 or a block. It's homework you have to do on your own account. You're responsible for it. No one's gonna hold you down and tell you to do it.
Yeah, especially, you know,
studying,
in college.
No one's gonna tell you. Yeah,
because like what your professor's gonna be like, I can't believe you didn't do your homework for the entire class of 300 students. You're just like, I don't give a shit.
Oh, you got a D? That's on you. That's too bad.
Congratulations, another student that I just failed. Like, I failed a lot of students.
And I think, you know, if you're coming to college just for that, that's still something that's worth getting. You're learning how to become a functioning adult, a member of society.
Yeah. Like I took graph theory last semester with Alan Tucker, and that has got to be the hardest I've ever worked. The final project, the entire class itself, you know, wasn't terribly difficult. Like I'm used to AMS classes at this point. Like I would be very worried if I wasn't. So like, you know, it's basically the same workload. You know, they give you homework every week. You got to do the homework every week. You got to do well in the midterms. But the final was this cryptogram, and it was wild. Did you take graph theory?
No, I didn't, but Pravin did. He told me about it. He said it was awful. It was just extremely difficult.
It was so difficult, but like I was up in wild hours of the night just working on this thing, and like I wanted to finish it because it's a puzzle. At the end of the day, like I'm a relatively competitive person. So like, so I was like, I can't not finish this puzzle.
You're getting pissed at the puzzle. Like, God damn it! Why can't I solve you?
It was like 5 different alphabets that you had to shift over, and like there were all these gaps and all this other stuff. And like I probably spent a total of like I'm not talking about like I just was working on it throughout these 36 hours. Like I straight up just put 36 hours into like trying to solve this damn puzzle, and like I solved it with like 3 days left to hand it in, and like I was so relieved. I was happy. Like I was at school, like no, I was at home, like freaking out, like staying up until like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, just trying to like figure this damn puzzle out. And I finally found my keyword, filled out everything, and then, like I handed it in. He was just like, "Wow, good job."
Yeah. So you didn't go to Japan at the time because you're thinking of school more so than the risk of just kind of going out of your way and, you know, getting up and leaving. But I think at the time, it was just probably the most understandable, most neutral decision to make, just because you didn't know. risk aversion is
of
just
course.
the case for you at that point because you don't know, and there's a good chance you still don't know how well steady is going to function later on down the line. So making sure you keep track of what's going on in school is definitely just a priority at the time.
Yeah, for sure. But the thing, what I have to say about that, for whoever ends up hearing this, if you're always doing risk aversion, if you're always like, I'm not sure about this, so I'm just not going to do it, you're just going to end up being stuck like everyone else and just doing nothing. And like, if
you become a sheep.
Yeah.
You become part of the herd.
Exactly. If you don't take risks and you don't really put yourself, and at the end of the day, like nothing is definitive. Absolutely nothing is definitive. Yeah. The only thing for now that is definitive is that the sun is going to rise, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Everything else,
life is innately chaotic.
Exactly.
And adding a little bit more chaos, if you know what you're doing, if you're making decisions intelligently and educated, you're going to make a decision that is in your best interest. Ideally.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes that means taking a risk.
Of course. And if it's something that you're passionate about, something you care about, and something that you can put a lot of work into and work really hard on, then take the risk, because at that point, like, is it really a risk, or is it just it's a matter of like how hard you work and like how much work you want to put in, how many hours of sleep you want to lose doing this. And at that point, like, I was kind of just like, I'm just gonna get my degree and I'm gonna work after I graduate. Like, steady is like,
like, what is it?
Like, I'm into it. I like doing it. It's a passion project. It's fun. But like, it was kind of like, it's whatever. And I missed out on an opportunity to go to Japan with them and like really meet up with people.
But I think that's funny because I remember an Instagram post you have your steady career card looking over a hill, and it says let your passion drive you or something like that.
It was like let your passion take you everywhere.
Take you everywhere. Okay.
Which has taken me to California and Hawaii.
Yeah, already. Look at
that. Yeah. And like, I go to Philly like every once in a while. I'm actually wearing a t-shirt underneath this right now from a shop out there called P's and Q's. Really good relationship with them. They're the homies. Love them. And I've gone to tons of places and experienced like all this stuff and learned all this stuff through traveling and through studying through my passion. And like, I would have missed out on all that stuff if all I was doing was just avoiding it because like, it was too risky or whatever it was. And a little sad that I didn't get to go to Japan with them. I'm going to Japan in June, so that's fine.
That's a little like graduation that celebration right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Japan for like a month. Which would be dope.
I really want to go to Japan. My uncle actually lives out in Tokyo, so I'm really, really hoping that once I have money, I can go out and live with him for a little bit and just explore Japan, because there's such a different culture.
Oh, it definitely is.
When Pokemon makes up a sixth of their GDP, there's something going on there. Something's different there.
So
I just want to know what's going on. I also wanted to touch on your experience with starting a fraternity, but actually I think I want to wrap it up here because it's been about an hour, and I know people don't like listening for too long.
Cut the whole fraternity thing just because my mother is not aware that I'm in a fraternity, and she will kill me if she finds out. But yeah.
So I just want you to wrap up on what your plans are for post graduation, if they're affiliated more with your degree or more with Steady, and if you have any last words.
Sure.
Or shout outs.
Sure. So after I graduate, obviously I'm going to go to Japan for a month, like I just said, but I'm working for a real estate brokerage based out of Queens, which I got through working at the Chamber of Commerce, because the guy is actually the treasurer of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm doing operations and graphic design for them, and like the pay's pretty good. I'm not mad at it at all, and also I don't have to worry about like post-grad getting a job
bills
or anything
and
like
stuff. Yeah,
but that wasn't necessarily from my degree, like, especially because my boss like kind of thinks of things a little differently, which I really respect. Like, he's just kind of saw like I could work hard and like I can do the work, and like when everything goes to shit, like I'm not like freaking out. So he hired me based off that. And that's not really aligned with my degree. I mean, yeah, like there's some math involved and like there's some economics involved, but like it's
it's not innately tied to it. And I've been having this conversation more and more with people. Is that, you know, again, coming from the same background doing math and economics, is I know a lot of people who have had the same degree and then don't even have a job that's affiliated with the degree.
Right.
I think having the degree is just getting your foot in the door and saying, again, going back to the discipline thing, you're qualified and capable of taking these classes.
Yeah. Having
a schedule and being an adult.
Yeah.
I think that's more important.
But you know, I'm doing that. I'm also going to be doing steady like way more. Obviously, I can't spend tons of time with it because like I've basically have 4 jobs right now. You know, I'm still kind of doing my internship, which is going to be my, you know, postgraduate job. I'm working on stuff with Steady. Like actually in like an hour, I have a digital meeting or a virtual meeting, whatever you want to call it, with the guys. And then I have 2 jobs on campus, which is marketing for campus residencies and marketing for campus recreation. Shout outs to both those, all 4 of those places.
Keeping me fed.
Yeah, keeping me fed. Campus residencies, shout outs to y'all for paying me what you do. I mean, I do a lot of videography, and like I've been able to stretch my videography legs with them, which has been really great. But that's what I'm doing. I'm also working on my own branding as well, which is like not something I really talk about a lot. But
it's low key.
It's very low key.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. It's going to be more cut and sew, but a lot of that work is going to end up transferring over to Steady.
Okay.
So when we start doing our own cut and sew work, you know, we know what we're doing. I'm prototyping a lot of stuff. My brand, tentatively, the name is Not Safe New York, NSNY, because it's like NSFW. Like, not safe for work, which is kind of the joke, but like it has like a bigger story behind it.
People will find out when it comes out.
Yeah, when it comes out, which is way down the line.
Yeah, so it says like so it seems like, you know, having more of a balance, doing both passion projects, working on your career, just advancing in general, and it seems like, you know, you kind of figured things out along the line. You never know what's going to happen, and it's, you know, you learn over time.
I mean, I think like last words for anybody, it's just never look at something and just think like, yo, you know what, like I fucked this up so bad that like my life is permanently going to be whatever now. You know, I came to Stony Brook kind of by mistake, but I've turned it into something that it's been really awesome. Like I've met tons of really great people, and I wouldn't have met these people if I went to a different school. And never look at something and just like, yo, you know what, like I'm screwed, and just always look down upon it. Like look at things objectively, look at things and just try to make the best of them, and follow your passion, because if you're not following your passion, like I know that there's like a lot of people that are listening. Like
as corny as it sounds, once you get older, you really understand following your passion is difficult, but it is the key to having a meaningful, fulfilled, and you know direction oriented kind of state of being.
Yeah, yo, shout outs to the people that like don't do that and like are literally just doing stuff to make money, which there's absolutely, like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing
I mean, there are a lot of people who don't have the option or the privilege.
Of course.
But if you have the option or the privilege or the time and you're capable, do it, because, I mean, especially if you're young, you're not going to have time to do it later on down the line.
Yeah. But people, like you know, a lot of Asian American kids, too, and, like, a lot of it now, I think is a, you know, it's an issue because of the whole financial stuff. You know, they're told, like, you know, go be a doctor or a lawyer.
The thing is,
or
it's
an
funny
engineer.
because I have that in literally every conversation with anyone that comes from an Asian immigrant family of any sorts. It's like, you know, my parents wouldn't love me doing these things, but like I'm trying to do, you know, all the school stuff to, you know, appease them, but at the same time I want to do all these passion things because I want, you know, myself to be accomplished, because they sacrificed all this. You know, so I can have a better life. Yeah. But then at the same time, to make them happy, I gotta do, you know, what they think is good. But I also want to do what I think is good.
Yeah, I think my advice just for those people, like, like you should be doing stuff for your family, and like yes, like you should forever be grateful for your family. I'm forever grateful for my mother, and you know, my dad and my stepdad as well, for like all that they've given me. But at the end of the day, like, it is your life. Like, you shouldn't be leading your life for someone else. And a lot of those times people are just like, yo, be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, so you can be successful and make money. And like, if you really hate being a doctor or a lawyer or engineer, you're gonna make good money, but you're not gonna make the most money. Yeah. But if you're following your passion, you love it, and you're able to put in those hours when
you're probably gonna be making more money.
You're gonna be making more money. So if it's about money, like, actually, like, you know, put your ass to the seat and do the work that you need to do, even the work that you don't want to do, if it's your passion, and like, the money will follow. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah. It's a good way to end it. Thank you for being here. For anyone listening, it's very good advice. Thanks for listening. Peace out, guys. Link Steady US in the comments. I mean, not the comments, in the
description
below. A little
Hit the like, share, subscribe, smash that like button below.